On this episode of Star Wars Time Show, Matt and Nick will be talking about a new addition to the Hot Toys line. 2 new additions, that is, for the Return of the Jedi film. We also got some updates on Star Wars Battlefront 2 that fans have been wanting for the past 2 or 3 years. And there's some rumors going around about the Game of Thrones duo and what their trilogy may be like. And don't forget about Ryan's trilogy. We also got something on that. Plus, the big one in this episode is the Ewan McGregor story. Is it real? Is it not? Is he going to Disney Plus? And of course, we're going to wrap with our favorite segment of the week. It's for you, the fans, the top 5. Cue the music. Hey now everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode, and it's sort of action-packed, but you never know where Nick and I will take those topics you just heard from our faithful announcer. But Nick, as we do, let's go ahead and get into the first one, which it seems these days we're usually talking about some form of collectible in Star Wars land. Big surprise considering I've mortgaged my child's future to get new Star Wars toys. So last week we got news, or not news, but glamour shots. We kind of heard about these from SDCC. Fans were taking shots of these new Return of the Jedi figures in the case, but now we got some glamour shots straight from Hot Toys of the Wicket E. Warwick Hot Toys Ewok figure, as well as the announcement that he's going to come in a deluxe pack with Endor Leia, which is pretty bitchin'. All right, Nick, so we were kind of talking about these guys offline, and once again, you're just expressing your amazement over how detailed these fuckers look. Oh, yeah. In particular, the little bear.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the good thing about Wicket and any of the Ewoks is that, you know, for these Hot Toys figures or any other figure maker out there, you don't have to match human features, so it's much easier to make them look exactly like they look in the movies. And what I told Matt before we went online is, like, it looks like I'm looking at Wicket right on a movie screen. This doesn't even look like a figure. It looks like there is a person in an Ewok suit sitting in front of this camera taking this shot. It's incredible the level of detail that's in here. And like you said, this being the Hot Toys, the you know, super expensive Barbie doll figures, the 1/6 scales, like the fur that's used on here is fucking crazy.
I mean, dude, I have the Chewbacca one, which is highly coveted by a lot of people. You can't get them anymore. There's no wait list. You're basically black market if you want them. But he is full hair. I mean, the motherfucker, one of his accessories is a comb, just so you can kind of keep the hair fucking straight. So you're right. I mean, this Wicket, a lot of people were kind of getting little chubs for him when they saw him at SDCC, but now that we got the glamour shots, I mean, people have collectively lost their minds, as I am, and yes, I will own this Hot Toys Wicket, because I do like the Ewoks, and Return of the Jedi is my favorite film. Fight me. Anyway, so really, the big news, at least in collecting land, Nick, I know that's kind of my niche within the Star Wars Time Show brand, but the big news wasn't just the Wicket glamour shots. I mean, he's badass. He's coming with some cool accessory. He's got some drumsticks he's going to get. He looks like he's got a piece of rock, or no, it's that shit he was eating that Leia gave him. He's got a spear, different hands. But the big news was that there's going to be a deluxe pack featuring both Wicket that we just talked about, as well as Princess Leia decked out in her Endor Rebel Assault gear, which is bad. You know, that's kind of the poncho. She's going to get the helmet. She's also going to have that kind of the beige vest with the yellow shirt under it and the blue pants. So there's going to be an individual Leia like this, Nick, but there's also going to be the deluxe version where it's going to be her and Wicket. I'd say a perfect pairing, considering that's kind of how we meet Wicket, through Leia when she crashes the speeder bike. So what you get with the deluxe set, Nick, and why this is the one I'm getting, is you actually get the beat-up helmets that you see at the end of Jedi, where the Ewoks are using them as drums.
Oh yeah. Okay, so that's the seal the deal item.
That's
right
the kicker. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna get it anyways, but when I saw that is the exclusive in collection set item, I was like, okay, you got to do it, especially because Wicket himself ships with the damn drumstick.
Yeah, but so he comes with the drumstick, so of course you're gonna get this. Of course you're gonna get this deluxe set, and you have to take pictures of him playing the drum.
Fuck yeah! I mean, they even got one down here. Whoever I forget the guy's name. I mean, I've seen him before. He's on the toy photography scene on IG as well, but he typically does a lot of these. But yeah, you got to. I will try to, and I'll probably do it, but knowing me, it'll take me about a year to process it. So by the time I actually get it out, people will be like, oh, yeah, Wicket, it's fucking old. Who cares? That's basically my toy photography life these days.
I mean,
but anyways, I don't think we have prices on these, just knowing how similar size figures go. I bet the Wicket's going to come in probably just under 200, thinking 180, 190. I think the standalone Leia will be about 230. And the deluxe set will probably be around 300, 350, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, for the types of figures that you're getting here and the level of detail, it's well worth it, especially if you're in the collection, the collector community. If you take photography and you do, stage shots and stuff like that, like Matt and others do. I mean, this is totally worth it. Just looking at the shots that are included for the deluxe set, it's so amazing. Like, these figures are so posable. They're like, whoever's doing the posing and the photography for Hot Toys for these images is doing such a great job, because there are things like perfect scene recreations from ROTJ that, like, rivals some of the best photographers that we've seen in the top 5.
I believe the guy's name is BG Toys. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's who does it. At least that's his handle on Instagram. And you're right. I mean, I need a Leia, so naturally I'm getting this. And as we were talking about with Chewbacca, these fully furred out Hot Toys 1/6 scale figures are to die for. Once you get them in hand, as Nick said, since they're not humans, you don't have to worry about the sculpt being picture perfect. These little alien things are just perfectly suited for high-end figure action. So, I mean, ultimately, it's the Hot Toys, it's the Black Series of figure arts. This is all what led to my death of my Funko Pop love.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't justify spending the money on those unposable little chibi things when I'm seeing these literal works of art that I can get for a couple $100 and literally display and not feel kind of weird that I'm almost 40 and have, 500 Funko Pop dolls down in my basement.
Yeah, I mean, again, if anybody wants to buy those Funkos off of Matt, just
seriously
reach out.
I mean, it's almost blue light special time. I mean, you roll up with a fucking truck bed. I'll come out with a wheelbarrow and just start dumping them in there. and that's what I mean. It will require a truck bed. I mean, we're talking upwards of 600, 700 pops. So
Matt, we may need to, next celebration, my voice cracked a little there. Next celebration, we need to get a vendor license and just set all your stuff up there. I'll just give them away. Like that'll be our special exclusive collectible. Yeah. People are going to have a barcode to get in line early. Oh yeah.
To basically get my collectibles that I don't want anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and you have some of the hot items too. I mean, it was a passion of yours for a long time. So I have the big ones.
Day one shit. I mean, I have the first one ever made. I mean, if you are into it, supposedly it's worth $800 to $1,000. I mean, I've got some of the Star Wars ones that have been vaulted you can never get again. Darth Maul, glow-in-the-dark Darth Maul. I got them all. I just don't want them anymore. I want more of these things. I need money for Wicket and Leia. All right, well, we got about a year to wait on these. I still don't even see pre-orders on Sideshow, but when they pop up, I will be throwing that news up on StarWarsTime.net, which you should be checking out anyways, or at least having your social feeds to see when we post new content. And if IG wasn't a communistic platform, you'd be able to click on our links. But until we get 10,000 followers, you can't. So fuck off, IG. All right, moving on, dude. This news got me excited today. It got me nostalgic, if you will. And that's the news that we're getting some updates in September to Star Wars Battlefront 2 that should tickle all fans' fancies of this franchise. All right, so in August, there's a few things coming out. You're getting some cosmetic updates to the B1s. There's a new spawning system being added in. But September, Nick, this is where we're getting some legit updates to the game. First up, brand new map, Felucia. And the devs have said this is their best effort, their best map to date. And just based on what we know Felucia looks like, I kind of get what they're saying.
Oh yeah, I mean Felucia. For those of you who don't remember, if you think back to the Rots days, it's the planet that Ayala Secura, the
Isla murder,
was the blue Jedi who was killed by Order 66. That happened on Felucia. And if you remember that,
it's the Jedi all you young boys probably wanted to have sex with when you watched the prequels in the 90s.
Midriff shirt cut off.
I mean,
two
she was a
lightsabers.
sexy ass Twi'lek Jedi.
Yeah. So. And if you remember,
I'm attracted to Hera too, and
Hera.
I'm kind of into Twi'leks, I guess.
Yeah, I know that's your deal. I mean,
not gonna lie. I mean, I might even like the Tortugas, right? Or is that who Ahsoka and Shakti are?
Yep, those are those two. Yeah. Ahsoka, you just got to think for the head tendrils. That's
yeah, man. Who knows? Could do some weird stuff with those things, I guess.
Oh yeah, anything's possible when you got the.
Kanan got into it, so
he did.
Can't be that weird. And they had a baby, so parts must work, right?
everything fits together between a Togruta, a Twi'lek, and a human, apparently.
Heck yeah. So yeah, I mean the map should be badass. I believe it's a capital supremacy style map, so that's the newer mode. I believe the ships, this, that, and the other thing. But here is the update in September that got my nipples hard and got me kind of waxing nostalgic a little bit, Nick. And that is the addition of a new mode called Instant Action. All right, the name's kind of odd. Maybe that's what it was named before. I don't remember. But all Instant Action is, my friend, is single player, offline capable multiplayer. How do you like that?
Yeah.
So what we used to get in Battlefront 2 proper, back on Xbox, your PS2, that shit, where you could literally, as a single player, just fire up, join a team of AI, and take on another team full of AI. That has been nixed in DICE's Battlefront and, for the most part, Battlefront 2, but in September, they finally listened. It's coming. We're getting instant action.
I mean, this is something that I feel like fans of the franchise have been looking for, because not everybody wants to jump online and play with kids or play with a team of people that you have to try to coordinate with. And then if you've ever played an online game, specifically a Battlefront game or an online multiplayer shooter like Call of Duty, you can just end up in shitty games and it's a shitty time. And all you're doing is getting spawn camped, and it's just annoying, and you fucking hate it. And you get in, and you just immediately.
It's why I don't play multiplayer anything anymore. I mean, there's a big factor that I'm just not that good. I don't have the time to dedicate to learn the tricks to get better. So no, as Nick said, I don't want to go in and get ass raped nonstop. That's not my idea of a good time. I mean, these days, gaming to me, a good time is tapping fucking SWGO buttons on my phone like a moron.
Yeah, that's
all right. So I don't need the action of multiplayer and get my ass kicked by little kids. That's why the return to single player multiplayer, that's what I'm calling it, is fantastic.
Oh yeah, and then the additional mode that's being added in, as well as a 4-player co-op mode, where it's essentially like a galactic conquest mode like you used to play in the original Battlefront 2. So so you can play with multiple people, so you can get 2 people on, get 4 people on, and then you can play battles across different planets. So you start on one planet, you play through all the missions. If you die, you restart. If you don't, you keep going. And I think you can play across as many as 5 planets.
Right, and it's alternating defense, offense, depending on which side you are. If you're clones, you could be defending Fallujah.
Yep.
And if you're the Separatists, you'll be defending Geonosis, shit like that. So yeah, I mean that sounds awesome too. I'm wondering, let's say it's just you and me, we join up. Will we get paired with 2 other people to take on 4 other people in AI?
Yeah, I don't know. They weren't very clear about that. I think all they said was 4 people, like 4-player co-op, but I don't know if they said you could do it with less. So I would assume that it would pair you. It would pair you off with 2 others.
Yeah, because this, again, could alleviate some of the anxiety and stress of playing just the standard multiplayer. Because here, you're at least in a dedicated squad if you have enough friends. I don't. I mean, I could probably get Nick. We might be able to do 2.
Yeah.
Maybe the intern might be able to dig his ass out and play some video games. But At least with 4 people, it could be more fun. At least you could all get your asses kicked together or something like that.
Yeah, it could be a good time. And
I'm telling you right now, I'm an instant action guy. I cannot wait to sample it because we've talked about this in past casts when we've done our top X video games, listicles, casticles, testicles, whatever you want to call it. Both of us used to sit around playing Battlefront 1, Battlefront 2 for hours against the computer.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, again, kicking the shit out of it. I mean, to me, it was kind of a God complex, a Skywalker complex, if you will, for this universe. I wanted to feel like a fucking badass. Even if I was just controlling a little rebel commando, I still wanted to be able to run around and essentially kill everybody.
Yeah, exactly. That was the appeal of the game initially, because there was no, unless you had an external modem to hook up to your PlayStation 2, which you could buy separately. There was no online multiplayer for this kind of stuff. This was all local co-op. So if you had a friend, your friend would come over, he could play. If you had a multi-tap for your PlayStation 2, you could have up to 4 people play, and that was it. I mean,
multi-tap. Remember all the fucking shit, the peripherals you had to use just
God,
the game?
It was fucking crazy.
And where it is now, it's insane.
Yeah. I mean, that's what made Battlefront great, though, is that it was never really, the PvP was never the draw of that game.
Yeah, it was nothing. I mean, I could give a fuck. I mean, to me, it was all about just kicking the shit out of the AI and making me feel like a Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly.
Period.
So
that's it.
A lot of this stuff is really thought out, really good additions by the DICE team. And like I was saying before, they're listening to their player base, which is super important. Because
it took a while. I mean, this game's what? This got to be its 3rd year, right?
Yeah, it's coming up into I think 2020 will be its 3rd. I can't remember let me see. Let's look here. BF2, if I can find when this game came out.
I thought it was 16, or is it 15 maybe? It's whenever the Xbox One X released.
November 2017.
That's it?
Yeah, so that was the release date, November 2017. Shit. So it's coming up on the 2-year mark, rolling over into the 3-year for 2020. But, they have, when we first played this game, Matt and I both got it near or on release date. And the best thing that we had to say about it was that there was a actual single-player story mode that gave you new content, that gave you new story content that was super interesting and super engaging. So that was good right out of the bat. After that, after you finish that, roughly 20 to 25 hour campaign, plus the add-ons for the, I can't remember exactly what it was called. But the later years of that campaign where you come in and you play as older Iden and you get introduced to Kylo Ren, that's kind of where it tapered off. Matt and I weren't really interested in playing the multiplayer.
Well, dude, you remember the loot box scandal.
Oh, God, yeah.
Before this game even released. I mean, this game is kind of the game that really kicked the conversation up to a government level on loot boxes.
Yeah, it was.
And is it a form of gambling?
I mean, it got to the point where it was just somebody did math calculations and they're like, if you wanted to unlock everything in this game, you'd have to play for 350 years or something like that because of the way that the loot box system worked and just the way that unlocks in general work in that game. Now, you could say what you want about it, that guarantees you endless hours of replay value, but it also guarantees that, you're going to feel at some point like you've been putting in too much time and not getting enough out of it. So a lot of interesting things that have, come along with Battlefront 2. But then, the devs wised up. They decided that it's time to give people value for what they paid for. And now all of this content that we're getting now, all of these monthly updates, community updates, these are all free. You don't have to pay for this. This is not DLC, paid DLC. This is free update content. You don't have to worry about ever shelling out another $1 for the game. So
yeah, man, I'm excited. I can't wait to see how this goes down September. Maybe Nick and I will even try to do a joint play here so we can talk about it. But this instant action is what I've been looking for. And the one thing we also didn't mention in September, the Clone Commando unit is coming into the game as well. So September is going to be a huge month for Battlefront 2 as it leads into its content for The Rise of Skywalker, which will kind of end out the season of content in 2019. All right, man. So moving on to again, these are rumorish type of things, but the stuff we like to get in. We like to kind of get in with the slop, the pigs, the people out there either doing clickbait or just wanting to speculate to have fun like Nick and I. And we got something last week on the Game of Thrones duo. So, again, that's DB and David, the guys that wrote and did a pretty good job on the HBO Game of Thrones series until the last season. But we've known this, Nick, now. They got their own trilogy. We've been speculating that they may be involved in the KOTOR stuff that we've heard about. But, again, they got a trilogy. This story is now saying that while they will kind of do a general treatment for the trilogy, they're probably at this point only going to be responsible for writing one of the 3 films.
Yeah. It's an interesting move. It's an interesting piece of speculation here, especially after the big announcement that now that they're finished with HBO, they've signed a deal with Netflix. They've essentially...
Like huge. What was it, like almost a $500 million deal?
Yeah,
I think it was like $300 million.
$300 million, 5 years, 10 projects over 18 months or something like that. Or is that somebody else? So, like, it's a huge deal.
Either way, it's a big commitment.
Yeah. So what was interesting about that is that we had already known, we've known for a while, like you said, Matt, that they signed on to do Star Wars. So now there's some speculation out there that their involvement with the Star Wars franchise that they're building is going to be a little bit less intensive than we first thought. Like, initially we thought, okay, these guys are going to write, possibly even direct one or all of these movies. Now with this mega Netflix deal, we may be lucky if we get these guys to write one movie and then produce the next 2, if that's how it's going to go. So,
here's kind of my take, dude. I want to see where you're at, and mine's kind of written there, but I see this as a good thing. I also see it as just straight clickbait shit. Fans like, watch this, people are angry at Game of Thrones guys. They're making fun of them for their writing. So we could probably put this out there and it'll stick because it would make sense. But again, here's my take. If it is true and this is how it's going, this is the new deal where they are going to provide a treatment for the trilogy but only write one, guess what? Sounds fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
This is what we are missing in the sequel trilogy. And I am a sequel trilogy fan. I'm a Disney Star Wars fan. I feel like we've reached that point now where you have to say that to people so they either don't start spewing hate at you or they can just hate you immediately and tune you out so they don't get pissed off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Star Wars is starting to become fucking political, which blows, where it's essentially you like Disney Star Wars or you don't. And if you're on either side, you can't get along anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking annoying. Honestly.
Either way, they fucked that up. There should have been a core writing team. Hello, the story group. Somebody, JJ, should have provided a treatment for the 3 movies. A treatment is not the whole script. It's just, this is going to happen in A, it's going to move in B, it's going to resolve in C, right?
Yep.
We didn't have that. We had, hey, have at it. You're an artist, you're an artist, you're an artist, you're a director, you're a director, you're a director, and you all 3 right. Fuck it. Go ahead. Do what you want.
It was...
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit what you do in your film and how it's going to impact his film, right? They didn't give so much a shit that the directors were basically getting themselves fired over not having story elements present because the guy before him fucking wiped them out.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking crazy. So I do agree with you. If that's the plan for them to write a cohesive, like a treatment, like saying these are the beats that we have to hit, these are the characters that will be there throughout, the journey of the movie, and just giving a generalized outline that people have to follow, then I would be okay with it. Like, if they are the first ones, if they do the first movie and then they lay the groundwork properly for movies 2 and 3, then I'm all for it. But if this ends up being like another situation like we're in now, where they do one and then, Matthew Vaughn comes in and does one, and then somebody else comes in and does one, and they're all just telling their own take on where they think that, this trilogy should go, then it's going to be a mess.
Right.
I just want there to be some sort of consistency. And I think if the guys stay on as producers, which is what they're used to, I mean, They wrote and produced Game of Thrones, not even wrote every episode.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think they directed too a few. I know they at least each season they would direct one or two here. And I know it's funny. It's kind of fresh now to be making fun of these guys. In the end, everyone fucking loved these dudes until Game of Thrones season 8. So for about 9 years, everyone thought they were untouchable.
Yeah.
I've questioned some of the shit they've done throughout because I had read the books, but really the past 3 seasons, it's been their vision. I guess they did kind of suck when they didn't have fucking
when they didn't
Martin
have
shit to go off of, because season 7
of.
wasn't that great either.
Yeah, once they lost the source material.
Super fast, super convenient type of shit. Either way, people like these guys. These guys got to where they're at for a reason. It's not like they're a bunch of fucking bozos, okay? So if this is true, I'm all for it, and I think this is probably the best way you could handle these guys, especially with the stink they have on themselves now with Game of Thrones season 8.
Yeah.
Bring them in. They're talented, clearly. They can put together a massive team that can do some impressive shit. Just let them do that. Let them almost be showrunners that just so happen to provide the overarching story in addition to fully writing one episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out, especially considering the timeline for the next Star Wars series to start post-Tross. Now, we don't...
it's so far away at this point, Nick. I don't even feel like Star Wars is going to be around anymore. I feel like we're going into the post-2005 black hole.
Yeah, I mean, it's the dark... It's a shortened dark age again.
I know. I keep forgetting about all of Disney Plus and yay, Clone Wars, yay. But, I mean, come on. We're not... After this December, think about it, because it's been a few years now. I mean, we've been going since, 2015?
Yep.
Where we've had a Star Wars movie every year since then. We're going on a 3-year break, my friends. 3 years, gone. I know some of you are probably applauding that, going, yeah, we won. I don't get that. I would rather have questionable Star Wars than no Star Wars, and I can't even call any of what Disney's been doing questionable. I've enjoyed most of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed damn near everything that Disney's put out here, and the thing is that they're doing content for everybody. They're not just doing content for people our age. They're not just doing content for teens.
Dude, let's be real. They're absolutely not doing content for us anymore. I mean, they're doing shit for the new generations.
Yeah,
100%, and that's fine. I've gotten over that. I like this new generation content. I'm still not a fan of the prequel new generation content, but it's kind of the same deal. Star Wars almost reboots itself every 10, 15 years to introduce it to a new group of little ones. You got to rely on people like myself and Nick to show our own little ones, if Nick ever has any, or his dogs. This is Star Wars, right? This is how it is, and I've never put any ill will or ill thoughts into my kid's head about the prequels. I let her watch them. I let her decide when she wanted to watch the movies. I'm pretty sure her first movie ever was Empire Strikes Back. And then we did Star Wars, and then we did Jedi. And then I started showing her prequels, and she had no interest in them whatsoever outside of Jar Jar Binks. I mean, this is, again, they're made for kids. They're kind of stupid. Attack of the Clones, I think, put her to bed. Revenge of the Sith, she could give a shit. The only one she liked was Phantom Menace. So
because that was the heaviest Jar Jar movie.
Yeah, I think so. But my point being is that Disney is not trying to make 40, 50, 60-year-old men happy with their narrative decisions at this point.
No.
They don't care. I mean, me in particular, I keep lumping Nick into my old ass, but I mean, we're not even close. I mean, I'm gonna be 40 in a fucking year.
Yeah,
I'm starting to fall out of the money demographic, man. Like I'm coming out of that 18 to 46 thing. I'm getting it on the high end.
Yeah. So I mean, there's they know what they're doing. Disney knows that in order for Star Wars to last the test of time, you have to capture the younger demographic, and that's what they're doing. So like, everybody out there who's 50 plus years old and they're bitching about Star Wars, guess what? Disney really don't give that much of a fuck about you.
They really don't care.
Like, you are going to be dead before Star Wars is finished. So like,
and as much as I love the Skywalkers, that they are Star Wars. It's over. That they've had their run. I mean, 40 plus years of films and cartoons and this, that, and the other thing. I'm gonna miss it. The new stuff is going to have to be fucking excellent and treat the universe accordingly. But if done right, I think the new Star Wars stuff coming from the Game of Thrones buddies, the Disney Plus, the Rian Johnsons of the world, who else knows could get other projects, I think they could be fantastic. I don't know how you completely avoid anything related to the Skywalker saga. I'm just talking about legend, this, that, or the other thing. Nick and I brought this up. If you are going to do this shit and completely not feature anyone from the Skywalker saga, you can't just treat it as they never existed.
Yeah, I mean,
right? That'd be like saying that America never existed in the time of man. I mean, you can't just delete all the history that the Skywalkers brought to the Star Wars franchise.
It's going to be interesting because, I mean, that's a good pivot point to go into our next, topic here. And that's exactly what Rian Johnson is talking about, is that
it's almost like we're professionals.
Yeah, it's like we've been doing a podcast like this for like 4+ years or something. So, every now and then we can get a segue right on the nose like that.
And then we call it out because we're not professionals. And we're like, holy shit, we did something right.
We made a good transition here.
Right.
But
it wasn't just like some jerk-off tangent that made no sense.
Anyway, Rian Johnson obviously has been out there. He's talking a little bit about his upcoming trilogy. He was speaking to the...
Better watch out, Nick. Did anyone throw a brick at your head when you said his name?
I don't know. I'm on a third floor of an apartment building.
All right,
so
I'm looking behind my back to make sure Pete doesn't have a shiv and he's going to stab it.
You got to be careful.
Me in my kidney or something.
When you talk about Rian Johnson's Star Wars land...
Dude, holy triggering, man. I mean, literally, his name is just a trigger now for Star Wars fans.
It's pretty insane considering the level of excellence that is seen in The Last Jedi. Look, you can say what you want about story beats that are in there, but that movie itself is a fantastic piece of filmmaking. And, Rian deservedly has his own trilogy. I mean, JJ got 2 out of 3 in this one, and we'll see what happens in TROS. TFA is one of my favorite Star Wars movies of all time. And I really feel like Rian, given the sandbox and given the opportunity to say, hey, this is now your series of movies. You do with it what you want. You don't have to use Luke Skywalker. You don't have to use Rey. You don't have to use any of the characters that we've ever seen before. You make Star Wars what you want Star Wars to be. I really do think that this guy's going to kill it because he has a mind that can create story and create intrigue in a fantastic
and he's clearly
way.
a super fan of the franchise. I know that might sound weird to some people because they think he just came in and slit everyone's throats and pissed on their faces. But this is kind of what he said. So he was talking to Observer, and he's just clarifying, like, what's this trilogy going to be about? Is there going to be anything in there? Kathleen's hinted that maybe the sequel cast could pop up again. It sounds like it definitely won't be Rian's project because here's his exact quote. I think that the fun and challenging part of it is to dive in, figure out what's exciting, and then figure out what it's going to be. We're doing something that steps beyond the legacy characters. What does that look like? To me, the blue sky element of it is what most striking about it. I know the way that I'm coming at it, and what's fun about it for everyone in Lucasfilm is figuring out what's the next step. It really makes you think and figure out what the essence of Star Wars is for me and what that will look like moving forward.
I mean, that is what he said there at the end, the essence of Star Wars. What is the essence of Star Wars? The only time that we've really ever explored the essence of Star Wars outside of what we know from the cartoon series and the movies is through the video games, and specifically the Knights of the Old Republic video games. Because everything else that we've ever seen, even in video game land, has been connected in some way to the Skywalkers, Empire, the Republic,
Yeah, I mean, outside of the KOTORs, you're 100% correct.
So those are the only 2 pieces of Star Wars, media, visual media out there that's ever gone beyond the Skywalker aspect of things and really dug down to what is the essence of Star Wars. And when they did that, they created 2 of the best Star Wars video games of all time. Like, you can say what you want about KOTOR 2. I know that there are some people out there who don't like it, but the characters that were created in that game were fantastic. Darth Sion, Darth Nihilus, Darth Traya.
I mean, they're my best friends, the Triumvirate. I mean, I roll with them in my pocket every day on SWTS.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're
my homies, man.
Helpful people when you're climbing up the squad arena ladder. But yeah, I mean, that's what's going to be most interesting here is to see.
And that I love how you frame that, Nick, because that should even get haters excited. I mean, just pretend it's not Rian Johnson, all right? I know some of you can't even get beyond that, and that's whatever. You're gonna have to go seek help for that. Pretend it's not Rian Johnson. Just think about the potential of getting something like Nick explained, KOTOR, that was fresh, no ties to the Skywalker saga at all. Now, I'm not saying KOTOR. I'm saying, think about, okay, let's do the opposite of KOTOR. Let's flash forward 1,000 years. What does the Star Wars universe look like now? Okay? That gets me excited. What does 1,000 years post The Rise of Skywalker look like? Are the Skywalkers even mentioned anymore? Did the history books even talk about the Grand Republic, the Old Republic, the First Order, the New Republic? You know what I mean? Like that's the stuff I want to learn. And going back to my original point, Nick, it's those little things. Like, yes, can Ryan do a movie 1,000 years in the future and it'd be awesome? I 100% think so. But I at least want one element in that film where, say, the main characters in their bedroom, they have the Bible of the Skywalkers or something.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it. They don't directly reference it. It's just an Easter egg to tie this brand new, fresh, legacy-less content to the legacy-infused stuff that got us all into Star Wars in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, things like that is a perfect way to pay homage to the original Star Wars saga, where everything started. So if you see like maybe, like you said, we see the interior of a building and it's like a library or a museum or something like that. And you see a hollow, image of Luke Skywalker or of Rey or of, something like
100%.
that.
That's all I want. I don't want something. I don't want him to get too cute, or anyone in the future that's going to be doing legacy-less Star Wars. Don't go too cute and be like, yeah, we're not even going to, it doesn't even exist. Fuck it. We don't even know about it. And I honestly think that's where he could be going. Like, hey, we're in the unknown regions. Fuck the Skywalkers. They were multiple systems away. Who gives a shit? But really, based on what he's saying here, Nick, I think he knows what's going on. I mean, the essence of Star Wars to me, and I think to everybody, is good versus evil with some mysticism mixed in there.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, that's the essence.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's set in space.
It's a morality play. Like, people, like, the good thing about Star Wars is it makes you question morality. Like, that was the whole story of Anakin Skywalker and himself. It's like he's questioning his morality. Should he do a bad thing to save somebody that he loves? Should he stay on the good path even though he knows that person is going to die? Like, questioning his morality, questioning his leanings, questioning his allegiances is always kind of been the crux of a good Star Wars story. And that's something that we even see in the sequel trilogy when we look at it. You look at Kylo Ren, like, this time it's flipped. You don't have a good character, and like you did in Anakin Skywalker, questioning, turning to the bad side. You have this character in Kylo Ren who's always struggling, this bad character struggling with the pull to the good. And it's one of those consistent themes in everything that you've seen, even in KOTOR. KOTOR is literally a game that allows the player to pick their morality choices. Do you want to be good? Do you want to be bad? And see how this affects the galaxy around you. So I think, like you said, Ryan is a diehard fan of Star Wars, just like we are. If we know this, then Ryan for sure knows this. Yeah. So I'm super excited to see what he comes up with, because it's a playground. It's a Star Wars themed playground, and all he has to do is just take those themes, that essence, and then build something brand new out of it. So it's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, he's got a huge job. It's not just the actual work. It's all the fucking nudniks he's going to have to convince. And I don't know if he can. I mean, they're like Hank, my boy, the stunt guy, fucking hates Rian Johnson's guts. Hates his guts. I mean, anything he even sees or hears of this guy, he almost starts vomiting.
Hank the Gang.
And there's a lot of people like that are triggered by the guy's name now. So, I mean, he could create magic, and people like that will probably still be like, hey, fuck him, I hate his guts, he sucks.
I think what's probably going to happen with with his trilogy is, depending on when it comes out. So I mean, like if we get GoT Bros first, and then we get, so we would
I think they're gonna give some years for Rian.
Yeah, I mean, like if you do the GoT Bros trilogy like it was laid out in the schedule that we talked about probably 2 months ago, where you have a year break between each one, you have 6 years of buffer between when the first GoT Bros movie comes out and when the earliest possible release of Rian Johnson can come out.
Well, because, I mean, Iger still only detailed their plans up through, 2025 or 2026? They're basically going Star Wars, Avatar, Star Wars, Avatar.
Star Wars, yeah, exactly. So you get 3 Star Wars movies interspersed with Avatar every other year. And then after that, so you would assume
there was nothing. I mean, there's at least nothing on their roadmap at this point.
Yeah, so I do think that what's going to end up happening is, if there's still a lot of bad sentiment out there for Rian, Disney has to expect a low box office for his first one. You just have to expect it. Like, there are going to be people out there who still remember their feelings about TLJ, their feelings about Rian Johnson as a human being for some reason, fucking nutcases. But you have to expect a low box office, and then what you have to really hope for is that people say fuck it after they see the movie. So like, you make $500 million on the first box office and you settle, and then you wait for home release, you wait for HBO, you wait for these streaming services, people see it there and they're like, holy
no way.
Fuck.
We already know that they're not fans of waiting. I mean,
oh yeah, no, they're not.
They didn't wait on Solo. I mean, as soon as Solo didn't make $1 jillion, they're like, all right, fuck it, Star Wars story's done. Fuck all this, Solo done. Fuck you. It's all canceled.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't wait. They're not gonna wait for this shit to go to home release. If it bombs in the theaters, they're gonna be like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I really hope that they give it. I mean, I hope that they've learned their lesson. First off, I don't think that any franchise is bulletproof. I mean, people can talk about Marvel all they want, but if you go look at a lot of these Marvel movies, there were some disappointing box offices in there. There was Ant-Man, not that strong of a box office. Thor 2, again, not great. Even Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 had like a pretty weak box office showing. I mean, there's a lot of movies within that universe that were weak. The thing with Star Wars is, when a Star Wars movie doesn't make $1 billion immediately, it's a panic moment for Disney.
Oh yeah, it's a thing. I mean, a lot of people forget the power of Star Wars, the legs of Star Wars. I mean, we're talking about a franchise that started in the 70s and it's still just as strong, if not 1,000 times stronger in 2019. The MCU, for as awesome as it is and for as relevant as it is, it's just a little over 10 years old at this point.
Yeah. And
I mean, yeah, it's got a lot more fucking movies in it, but that's because of the characters and the nature of the beast. So, I don't know. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting to see, one, when Rian kicks in, like when he gets his first shot back on a big screen for Disney in Star Wars, and it's going to be interesting to see the critical reception and the fan reception. I think the critics are going to be all in, because they were all in on TLJ.
Oh, they loved them before,
yeah.
But you can't say that now, because then people are like, oh yeah, fucking Disney pays them off.
Yeah.
Suck a dick.
And then
fans are right. Fan the menace. Blah.
Yeah, fan reception is going to be interesting, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to seeing what can be done here, what is in Rian's head, basically, because I think he's got a lot of cool ideas swirling around up there, and he wanted to get some of them out in TLJ, and he did, and some people didn't like it. But I think
you think,
but dude, I think like if that movie, if you take TLJ and you insert that into his new trilogy, and those characters that were in play there were legacy-less, as we're saying,
exactly, they weren't Skywalkers.
Fucking
they would have
loved it.
I mean, honestly, if he would have just let Luke Skywalker maybe kill one person, I think people would have been all right.
Yeah, like if you...
Because I think when you break it down to it, it's all goes back to Luke. A lot of people that were the biggest butthurt over Luke, and Luke not essentially being Rambo and ready to rip his shirt off and fucking knock heads. That's what they wanted. Yeah. I don't know that version of Luke, but that's, I think, what people are like, hey, he's a fucking master now. He's just going to show up and start snapping shit out of the sky. He's going to be a fucking god. And it's like, no. No, he's an angry old asshole that fucking hates everybody and hates himself.
He's a broken man, and that's just
Yeah,
something that people
he's
never
fucked
expected
up.
to see out of Luke Skywalker. That's
Right.
It's just like a jarring thing when you see this character.
It does. I mean, yeah. I just told Nick I had to watch Empire and Jedi back to back today. I'm not kidding. It literally went Empire Jedi because I'm watching a 3-year-old. And Luke really is just kind of a whiny asshole that always goes against what people are telling him to do, and it always gets him fucked up and almost everyone killed. I mean, that's who he is. Literally, that's who he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting time for Star Wars once we get to the RJ.
I don't give a shit about all these other people where it literally ruins their days and they try to ruin everyone else's days. It doesn't work on me anymore. I mean, it makes me sad to read comment sections, but that's my own fucking fault. You don't read comment sections. They're stupid.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Please, more Star Wars. Let's do it. All right. Speaking of more Star Wars, Nick, and this one's been probably the biggest rumor of the past 7 days in Star Wars land, and that is the idea that Ewan McGregor has reportedly signed a deal with Disney Plus for a Kenobi series. All right, so does this surprise anyone if it's real? Again, it's still not real, and it shouldn't surprise anyone. I mean, all you have to do is listen to the Star Wars Time Bros to understand that Disney Plus had a third live-action series planned. Iger has said as much, and it just makes sense that Kenobi would be the guy, especially if the whole Star Wars story Kenobi project was real and got canned because of Solo, this, that, and the other thing. So really the gist of the rumor, Nick, is that Ewan McGregor's on to do a Kenobi spin-off TV series for Disney Plus. It could range anywhere from 6 to 8 episodes, and he may or may not direct a few of them. So what do you think?
I mean, I think that this is a fucking home run if this is true.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like,
a no-brainer if it's real,
yeah.
right? I mean, this is a no fucking brainer. It's exactly what Nick and I have been asking for, and we literally just did a podcast a few weeks back where we riffed on the potential third live-action Disney Plus series, and we pretty much said, yeah, we would love to see Vader, we'd love to see Fett, this, that, and the other thing, but in reality, it's got to be Kenobi.
Yeah, it's got to be Kenobi because Kenobi is the best one to tell in long series television format. We know where it's going to pick up. Like, this isn't going to be Kenobi pre-fucking episode 1. No, this is going to be Kenobi post-3, pre-6, where everything we want to know about Obi Wan Kenobi happens. We see Obi-Wan at his two...
Yeah, he's going to be the nomad. He's going to be the desert wanderer, living in the Judlin Wastes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, where we see Obi-Wan Kenobi in live-action format so far is probably in the two most uninteresting parts of his life. Like, in the area of, you know, the Clone Wars and the Grand Republic, which all he is a Jedi Master who raises Anakin Skywalker. So he's not even a central figure.
Well, he also says, hello there.
He does. In a very
honestly, I mean, see, I love the line, but that's really the only thing most people remember of Obi-Wan Kenobi from the prequels.
I know,
is
right?
that he says, hello there.
Hello there. It's just, I mean, like, look, Ewan nailed the line, but like...
Oh, it's fantastic. and his two-finger pose.
Oh, yeah, the lightsaber over the head with the two fingers
the peace sign.
outwards. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. But now, if in this series we get to see Obi-Wan in his most interesting time of his life, this is when he is one of 2 surviving Jedi in the universe. He is
probably living a life of shame, disappointment, and not much hope.
Yeah, and he is essentially tasked with protecting the only hope for the galaxy left, and that's Luke Skywalker
and himself, and the knowledge that he and Yoda are still alive. I mean, I clearly when you get to A New Hope, Vader had no clue that Kenobi was still milling around. I mean, he his exact line is like, he's looking around like fucking stormtroopers are gonna have any idea what the fuck he's feeling, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, I haven't felt this presence since, and he walks away. He's like, all right, shit, I haven't felt that since he left my ass on the high ground debacle.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think, well, first off, this story has gotten so much traction. I think we picked it up pretty early, directly from Bespin Bulletin, where it came out of. And Bespin Bulletin got his news from Jordan Mason at Cinelinx, who says that this Jordan guy says that he's got double confirmation, 2 sources saying that this is real. So that's basically, what people look for at this point. Do you have 2 sources saying it's real? Okay, then it's probably real. But there's nothing from Disney. There's nothing from Lucasfilm yet. So that's just put that out there. It's like, this is not confirmed.
A lot of people think that it started leaking, a few days ago because something may have gotten out for some D23 marketing or announcements, because that's coming up clearly here in 3 days. If you are going to get, and if anything official on Kenobi, I think you would get it here, especially because of all the rumors. But they could also just be like, hey, fuck it, whatever. It's free press for us. We can sit on this all the way till Celebration 2020 if we want.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they don't...
I mean, think about it. They'll have assholes like you and me sitting here, like, just promoting this project for free.
For a whole year.
Yeah, just speculating on it, and then they're going to come out and be like, oh, yeah, hey, by the way, this is in production. It's coming out in a year. We're almost done.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for them to announce it right now. There's enough content for the D23, for... the upcoming, rest of this year, that they don't need to go out and announce a fucking Obi Wan Kenobi series, because we have Trost, we have the Mandalorian, we have the Cassian Andor series, we have the return of Clone Wars, we have everything like that's already slated and announced. If you officially announce Obi now, all you'll be doing is saying, like, yes, it's happening. You probably won't get it for 2 or 3 years. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle the whole, official announcement. Is it real? Is it not real? If they even acknowledge any of this news, because this was picked up by some of the biggest outlets out there. I mean, you had Yahoo on this. I believe that the Hollywood Reporter picked it up as well. Like, there's a lot of big news outlets that are talking about this, but, yeah, I mean, no confirmation, but it's basically like we've been saying, it's a no-brainer. Like, Ewan's in. He's saying he's been interested in reviving this role for a while, and everybody wants it. Like, when the Obi Wan Kenobi standalone was teased, that was the thing that everybody was most excited about.
Yeah, man. I mean, I hope it's a done deal, because this is what you and I have been pining for in terms of, if we're not getting Kenobi Star Wars story, he makes the most sense for live action TV. And as you said, to me, it could almost play out like The Mandalorian for long form TV. I mean, he's kind of a wanderer. He's got to stay hidden in this lawless type of world. I mean, this would be right when the Empire spawns. So there's all sorts of fucked up shit going on. Even if it's a few years after that, I mean, he's still got to stay hidden. Sand people, bounty hunters, the Lars family, little Luke. So come on, Disney, give us the word so we can start speculating on what we're going to see, instead of just wondering if it's real or not, right? Because that's really what we want to start doing. We want to start figuring out the story that we want to write, that we want to see, so when we get it and it's not that, we can burn it all down like everyone else and tell everyone how fucking stupid Disney is because they didn't come up with our ideas.
Exactly.
All right, so Nick, it's that time of the cast where we're moving on to the fandom segment, the money segment, the top 5, where we heap praise upon those of you that are daring enough to get down and dirty, or maybe down and creative with your hobby or your passion for Star Wars. So every week I line them up on Instagram at Star Wars Time Show, hashtag Star Wars Time Show, or just tag Star Wars Time Show to try and get yourself featured. And then Nick, at the end of the week, goes down and picks his 5 favorite features of the week. There's no rank, there's no best, there's no worst. Really, anyone that gets onto the page is putting out some pretty badass Star Wars art. We just like to highlight some of the ones that really stood out for a particular week. So, Nick, this is covering 8-9 to 8-16. Why don't you go ahead and kick off the top 5?
Kicking off the top 5 this week is a fantastic... This is actually, something that popped up on the top 5 for the first time a couple of weeks ago, but this is a Vader Anakin crossover. So think back to Rebels when you have the fight between Vader and Ahsoka.
Holy shit, dude. I didn't even realize that that Anakin's face was popping out here.
Oh yeah, you can see him on the left side.
I mean, hell, I fucking shared the shot in the first place, and I really just thought it was Vader.
Yeah, but like I was saying,
Holy shit, okay.
It's that half Anakin,
Yeah.
you know, Anakin's face coming out of the mask, and then Vader, the rest
Well,
of the
I liked how, was it Sipon Nexwarnerin?
Yes, CIPONX WARNERN.
Sipon Nexwarnerin.
Yes.
I like how he kind of flipped the lighting then, because he kept
Exactly.
the blue on Vader but the red on Anakin. That's an interesting choice.
Exactly. I mean, it makes you think about the character in an interesting way, because, like, in human form, in fully functional Anakin Skywalker form, he was full of piss and vinegar. He was leaning to the dark side, and ultimately made his decision to fall to the darkness. And then as Vader, he realized his mistakes. He realized the errors
Look
of
how
his
deep
ways.
Nick's getting, man. That's almost like a psychologist take on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting little
He's getting
thought.
shrinky here. I like that. That's deep shit, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thought project, and like, it's really cool the way that you mentioned, like, the lights, the hues are on the opposing sides. Even the saber itself is split between red and
I know.
blue.
Dude, hear me out here. Do you feel like if we put on an old school pair of 3D glasses, this thing would almost pop out of the screen?
Holy shit, I didn't even think of that. It might.
You remember that? You
Yeah.
remember old 3D where it's red and blue, and basically that's what the image was, is red and blue, and then you put it together, it would make it pop?
Yeah. It might just do that. We might get a little bit of 3D action here. We have to ask.
I'm still blown away that the fucking Anakin's face is showing, and I had no clue.
Yeah. I mean, that
Until
was,
now. Literally until now.
That was the reason that I grabbed this one. So this is a super strong shot. I mean, this is a very basic menacing Vader pose. So standing there, he's got the lightsaber ignited.
Well, I
out
like the
to
caption he gave it, "Who am I?"
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, dude. It's some strong stuff here by Sipon X Warren Aaron.
Well, he seems to be buddies with a few of our other Star Wars fans of Star Wars Time. They've given themselves a hashtag now. They're the SW Junkies ID.
Yeah.
And it's Buff Trooper, who we've featured.
Yeah.
Babbitt K. Pick, I don't think so, but
03.
030079 AR we have,
Yeah.
and Griandra. So
Yeah.
it's spreading.
It's
I guarantee you got the tag from those dudes. So we appreciate being tagged, man. This shot is Sipon Nexwarnerin.
beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. All right. Next up, going down a little bit, a fantastic pose shot using a diorama by Blainer at
Okay, so I don't exactly know how he did this, because Blainer is someone, he's one of these kind of Photoshop kings where he can either composite stuff into existing backgrounds or really blend stuff in using just like a digital asset.
Yeah.
So if you look at, I'm just trying to
yeah.
look here.
The
If you
people
look at
look
how these
real.
guys are and how low the people are,
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is just a shot of Galaxy's Edge.
Man, when I looked at, okay, so like I didn't really look at the bottom of the picture, like around their legs at first. But like when I looked up and I looked at the walls, it looked like a real diorama.
Oh, I agree, and I'm not
was like,
trying to call anything
holy
out
shit.
here. I've tried this stuff myself, and it's hard because of humans.
Yeah.
But if you look beyond the subjects, which your eyes aren't supposed to, I mean, your eyes will be drawn right to what are these fuckers called? The Mountain Troopers.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, what you should do if you're doing the rule of thirds and all that fun stuff. But if you kind of look beyond the focus and the subject, you can see just the way the normal humans are.
Yeah, I could see it now. Yeah, I see
So
him.
it's almost like he set him up on a trash can, or literally just found an image or took an image and then superimposed these guys in. But either way, I think the reason you appreciate it is the same reason I did. It's just their pose. And
Yeah.
They do look like they're kind of walking through the streets of Baku, getting ready to shake some motherfuckers down.
Yeah. I mean, this looks fucking awesome. I mean, I really do like the pose. I really do like how he was able to capture that Galaxy's Edge feel, like this almost diorama-like feel with an image.
See, I'm wondering if he used a tilt shift on the background picture to kind of make it look miniature and blurred out, and then dumped in the Mountain Troopers. Either way, like I said, it's beyond my digital processing skills or knowledge. So I just go, wow, I wish I could do stuff like this. I can only set stuff up and light a firework off behind it and hope it looks all right.
Hey, a lot of good stuff comes from that. Ask Sir Dork. Sir Dork is
I got some really good feedback on it. I did a Grievous shot this week and I put it out. It's very everything Kylo. I mean, I give him credit. It's a shot that I would say was inspired by Jesse's use of crackling balls and just kind of the way he shoots stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, I guess I should just edit all the fucking fireworks shots I've been sitting on like an asshole. That seems to be what people like. I'm finally getting over 300 likes again, and people actually comment. And it's like, hey, no wonder when I share shit that's 2 fucking years old, it doesn't reflect my current skill set. But either way, I digress. Blainer, fantastic shot. I've always been a fan of his work because, like I said, he's usually doing some form of compositing or digital manipulation.
Yeah, for sure. It looks very, very solid. So next up, we have a shot from Darth Kikucho,
I like
Darthkikucho. Like, and what's really cool here is that it's like, so this is clearly like it's like a Boba. This is the Boba figure, but he's spray painted.
It's a prototype. No, okay. This is rooted in legit lore, Nick. Okay. The very first Boba Fett costume was all white. It's known affectionately as Prototype Fett.
Okay.
So this is a legit figure that is colored this way.
Oh wow. Okay. See, I assumed that this was just like Fett and he painted it.
No, but it is canon, or I guess canon for props, but I mean the initial Boba costume was all white like this.
That would look sick if they actually went with that. But this shot, is showing the prototype Boba then using his jetpack, kind of flying up, firing a shot, and what really kind of makes it is the setting of this. It looks like he's almost in a waterfall. Like you can see water coming down. You can see that he's floating above water, almost like he would be on Camino or something like that. Something similar to where we saw Jango Fett fighting Obi Wan Kenobi.
Totally. It's the pose for me, man. Yeah. I mean, it's very hard to make inanimate objects, pieces of plastic, look like they're flying based on a pose. And that's exactly, I mean, you could see it here. It's almost like he just hit the jetpack to kick up real quick, get some space between him and his target, as kind of like he's floating away and firing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what the pose elicits that feel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a super strong pose. Really captures the action that you see when you see Boba Fett fighting or you see Jango fighting. I mean, like, it's a really fantastic, photograph that really does capture the action like you mentioned. So it was super fun. And just, like you mentioned, the coloring of the prototype armor set kind of it has this cool blending effect with the background and with the water. I just think that the shot overall is super strong. Everything about it looks really dope.
Yeah, plus the name Darth Kikucho.
It's a good one. That's a good one.
Like it. Cooch.
331 followers, so it's like a relatively,
Oh yeah, no, we're starting to attract some of the baby accounts, fresh ones, which I love.
Yeah.
So come to us. We do not shy away from low follower accounts. We don't give a fuck. All we're looking for is interesting Star Wars art, be it toy photography, regular photography, art, tattoos. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
If it's Star Wars, we want to look at it, and if we love it, we'll feature it.
It'll be right here. So well done, Darth Kikucho. Solid work. All right, next up, number 3 on the top 5 here.
I think I have a lot of my personal favorites, Nick, just being in this for years and years and just coming across people's work over and over and watching them get better and better. I have a feeling a Sith load of Lego is one of your favorite accounts.
Oh, dude, I love a Sith load of Lego. Sith load of Lego, Lego Star Wars Tong. These guys who can take these Lego figures and make them look like they're fucking on a battlefield, fighting, doing real action-oriented things. It's just, they're fucking incredible. So this shot that we see here from a Sith load of Lego is Anakin Skywalker jumping. He's like in the air, got his lightsaber ignited, pulled back, ready to come down and strike. He's flanked by clone troopers. Looks like we have, I mean, like, And then is that Shakti or is that Ahsoka in the background?
That's Ahsoka.
Okay, it's Ahsoka. So because they look
Yeah,
like
Rex
similar.
is with them.
Yep.
See, it's Anakin and Rex in the foreground, and then Ahsoka's leading some Generation 1 clones in the background.
Yeah, I mean, it is super
It's
fun.
fucking money. I mean, like you said, anytime I see stuff from a Sith load of Lego, Star Wars Tong, Hugh Hughes, you name it, it makes me want to shoot Legos, but I know I could not do this.
I mean,
I don't have the posing mind. I love that what he did with Anakin. It's fucking boss,
dude. And like even like down to the smallest details too, like the sparks coming out of the hilt of the lightsaber right there, the dust that's kicked up from where Anakin's jumping. I mean, everything about this shot, the level of detail that is put into everything is so
if you actually
fine.
go to Sith's account on IG and pull this up, he did post a BTS.
Let's see.
And it's funny, like the Anakin, he had to wipe out Anakin's pilot communicator.
Oh.
Clearly, there's no lightsaber stuff, but it looks like the raw shot. He probably used a little atmosphere aerosol to bring in some atmosphere, but then the rest is all digital manipulation.
Yeah.
So again, something I lack severely, and you can see how much digital processing can add to a shot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I love to me, it's the setup and the raw shot and going through and picking the best raw shot. That's my favorite part of the hobby. Then when I start looking at them, going, oh, fuck, now I got to load this into Affinity or Photoshop. That's when I start going, why the fuck do I do this? Like, please, can someone take this on for me?
Yeah, somebody, we need an intern, like we said last week. We need an intern to edit all of Matt's shots for him.
The sad thing is, I'm a professor at a community college, and I literally could take our digital photography degree. Like I could get my digital photography associates for free.
You could.
And actually learn proper theory, lighting, this, that, and the other thing. But yeah, why would I do that?
Yeah, you know.
I'll just keep pulling shit out of my ass.
Takes
every once in a while hit a gem.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a Sith Lord of Lego has really, like, he's been on here. He's been in the top 5 countless times at this point. But like,
I don't know if you noticed, Nick, he's also starting to do some standard Black Series figures now.
I did, so I saw that. So I see the range trooper. No, this is the
He's got some Scarif troopers there.
Yep, and then we got
Imperial Guard down there. So he's been branching out a little bit away from the Lego stuff.
Yeah, just Lego.
And great work on the other ones as well.
Yeah, Boba. We got a good Boba image as well. So I mean, Sith Lord of Lego, this guy is just a fantastic photographer regardless of his subject, whether it be Legos, whether it be Black Series. This guy is a killer. And I feel like 2 of the hardest things to do in the toy photography community, and Matt, I don't know shit about it, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, is pops like you used to do in Legos. Because like you said, they're so rigid. Right. They're not
it's limited. Anything with limited articulation, you're kind of at the mercy of everything else.
Yeah.
That could be lighting, that could be the perspective you're using, the angle you're using, any practical effects.
I mean, it's just, so it's really fun to see, like, when you throw up a pop picture that really grabs my eye, like the Cad Bane one that you put up recently was super fun, had the fireworks in the background, the blasters going off, like, looked really cool. And then, you know, seeing these things from, you know, a Sith Lord Lego Star Wars Tong, these guys who really can bring together what is essentially not even an inch tall figure and make it seem like they're fucking going to battle on a real battleground.
Oh yeah, I mean, they look like little fucking badasses. Like they could come here and chop our toes and feet off.
Oh yeah, if this Anakin Skywalker figure ran up on me with this lightsaber, right, he would slice me to bits.
Quit stepping on my friends. And he's like quack 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 quack.
Oh man, so good stuff, great stuff here by Sith Lord of Lego.
Yes, sir. And I believe you just got out of some sort of hospital stay, this, that, or the other thing. Oof. So welcome back to the land of the living, and hopefully you keep putting out some content like this and your ass isn't too kicked.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick recovery to you, sir. All right, last up, number 5 on our top 5 countdown is it's an account that does not have nearly the amount of followers, the amount of love.
This still dumbfounds me, especially after some of the fucking posters Cam V's been cooking up here.
Yeah, so this is a fantastic Kylo Ren Rey shot by Cam VFX, CAMVEEFX on Instagram. And it really just captures this idea. What I looked at when I saw this was like this idea of the Force flash fights that we've been talking about. This idea that during this final battle, or one of the battles between Kylo and Rey, that it'll be such an intense battle that they're just jumping to different parts of the Star Wars universe. And this picture perfectly captures that. You have Kylo airborne, saber ignited, jumping in from one side of the screen, looks like he could be on Acto, where Rey, same way, saber ignited, jumping in, is coming in from a side that's almost looks like Mustafar, and they're going to clash in the middle. I mean, the action of this shot, the way that it's set up, and then add in the spice with the possibility of Force flash fights is just fantastic.
It's a great concept, and that's what Cam, in my opinion, excels at, are just the concepts. I mean, if you go to his feed on Instagram and just check out his poster for The Rise of Skywalker, badass. His shot of Rampo, badass. He has 2 companion pieces for the one we're talking about, the kind of posters where you got Kylo holding his blade, looking at it, with the shot Nick's talking about kind of superimposed within it, and then Rey, same thing. I like the way this guy's creativity works in his head.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It speaks to me. I mean, everything on his page, I'm like, yep, that works. Yep, and yep.
Oh yeah, I mean, just like you said, all of the work that this guy does is fantastic. I mean, even down to like the overhead shot of the TIE silencer with Rey from the original teaser trailer for TROS. He put that out 18 weeks ago when we were over in Celebration, and this thing looks fucking fantastic. Like, that could be a legit movie poster for The Rise of Skywalker, as could the other one that Matt mentioned, where you have the primary focus of Darth Sidious, of Emperor Palpatine up there, and then all of the other little assets mixed in with Rey, Kylo, the silencer, Death Star in the background. I mean, this guy is a master of, manipulating space on a digital canvas and really bringing these ideas that he has to life. It's fantastic.
Hell yeah. So, Cam, we're trying, buddy. You should have 19,000 followers, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
We're not that big yet, but we're getting there. We're growing. The army is swelling behind us, and we try our best. So I think was that our last one then?
That's the last one.
All right. So that wraps the top 5 for this week. Always a good time going through talking about some Star Wars fans that also like to showcase their fandom in art form. So if you want to get in on the fun, hashtag Star Wars Time Show on Instagram, or just tag us Star Wars Time Show. We'll look for it. If it's good, it'll get featured, and if it's great, or if it stands out to Nick, it'll make the top 5, and you'll get us fawning over your work on an episode of the SWT. All right, so it's that time of the show where we need you to help us out. Not only should you be listening right now every week, all the time, but you should be telling your friends. If you have other friends that like Star Wars like you do, or that like Star Wars art, collecting stuff, just sitting around listening to bozos talk Star Wars, please let them know about Star Wars Time. We need to start driving the numbers. More downloads, please. And you can help with that by going to StarWarsTime.net, hitting the subscribe to podcast link in the top right, or the hamburger menu if you're on mobile, and pick your platform. They're all there. And if they're not there, we got an RSS feed for you to plug into whatever super magic machine you have to listen to podcasts. Remember, when you listen to Star Wars Time, the Force will be with you, always.